evening. Welcome to Camnet Television Main News. Today, the 12th of March 2023. Happy Youth Day to all the youths out there. To present Camnet Television Main News, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Our top stories in the news tonight: UPND youths cause commotion at LUSAKA Youth Day event while youths in INDABA delegates remain stranded. Authorities urged to pay attention to victims of manganese poisoning. AVAP calls for the autonomy of the Electoral Commission of Zambia. In international news, South Africa's university students denounce increasing cost of education. And in sports news, Arsenal beat Fulham to restore 5-point lead.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Welcome to the news once again. A 27-year-old woman from Lusaka's Kanyama compound has been left in a dilemma to provide for her 3 children after her husband of 9 years neglected them. In an interview with Camnet News, Carol Mwape explains that her husband, Thomas Botan, who is a wheelbarrow pusher, has failed to provide for the family ever since she gave birth to a child with a disability. She has accused her husband of spending all his earnings on beer as opposed to buying food for the family. More in this report.
He is 7 years old and depends on his entire movement and feeding from either his mother or elder brother, who is 9 years old. Living with a disability has been a daily challenge for Thomas Bota. His father, whom they share the same name with, neglected him and his siblings and spends all his earnings on alcohol, leaving his 27-year-old mother with no option but stress in providing for the family. Narrating her predicament, Carol Mwape alleges that her husband, whom she identified as Thomas Bota, neglected the family just after she gave birth to a disabled child.
kuvala bana sibavala olusafu imani so president wamuna beveni bokolewa chabe so chava kabwela nokolewa bafika chengwa mbokonda na family yao president pena munga matezano banambo nchinjira nze rutini sinili bunisi abana bebo.
She accused her husband of spending all his earnings as a wheelbarrow pusher on alcohol.
Bamanza ba kulibe bamaenda chemukuno akabwero kafunza drama na series kati babwela
Meanwhile, her mother Edith Mola has called on various stakeholders to assist her grandchild who is disabled.
Kondana nezo funa kisile chikwati kaini daily atusha bwela panga ankala 1 week babwezana daily ama injala babwela bankala kwanga nene ni chitalenti ele kasako nyasi alenu ozoja brother wa mwamuna na bafyenga na pasa kanguno no bana bankala mnyansi ya beti olokendo ikopa ngani nyumba yamene bankala mugadawo yose manyumba anatenga na mashopa kujja chabe saba pasa maje nini na mene nafutika maningi osho beninga kambe maningi si mwana wanga ninamleta pamena para kalozi banani pasa mai kulikuserenje so ndine namukulisa paka kwatyo kwa mai bake sabaze bana bazibana stoza bamena mutumira so anabwerera kuyo kujana kango nkala chwa najera kula nayi so bafutisa ini so tibenyezo kama tikapena chikwati sile pauti ni wa business zamba nayi kugulisa kusoweto manje ni wana bakona wekabe so bazabana so zapempa chetandizo kumwana wasitandizile mutandize nayi.
It was impossible to get a comment by broadcast time from Mr. Bota as it was discovered that he was drunk at the time. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Antiwater Apathy Project Executive Director Richo Mulwani is calling for the autonomy of the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ. Mr. Mulwani says ECZ must report directly to Parliament and that the President must cease appointing ECZ commissioners key officers. He believes this will enable the electoral body to operate without undue influence of the executive.
Very, very important that, institutional democracy are strengthened, and this is why Parliament plays a very, very critical role, an oversight role on the executive and on any other institutions that really people have to account. Surely the electoral process in our country, we need to ensure that it's enhanced, and this is why we have seen a lot of challenges that are there, because you realize that members of Parliament are very, very important. So to us as AVAP, we feel that that is going to be a very good thing to ensure that the electoral committee of Zambia is able to report to Parliament, so that the Parliament can scrutinize the operations of the electoral committee of Zambia. Because that institution must remain neutral, but in the current form, it shows that the members have to report to the executive, which is not supposed to be the case, because the executive, we know how it operates. It has an influence over, institutions of democracy. So really, this is what we want to see, that we are able to change the way things are happening in the country. And for us to strengthen democracy, that is very, very critical for us, because that institution is there for the people of Zambia, and the people of Zambia must be able to hold that person accountable. And we can only do that through Parliament, who are representatives of the people out there.
Former Health Minister Dr. Chilufya has called on health authorities to expedite investigations, management and treatment of victims that were affected by manganese poisoning in Central Province. In an interview, Dr. Chilufya charges that there is no development that can be undertaken at the expense of the lives of the people of Zambia. He reiterates that as much as the country embarks on developmental activities, there is need to be cautious and ensure environmental safety. Last week, Acting Minister of Health Brenda Tambatamba informed Parliament that 28 employees of Southern Africa Ferro Alloys Limited SAFAL in Central Province have been diagnosed with manganese poisoning.
While there is inadequate information as we speak on the disease that has broken out in Chitamba, preliminary information, yes, does show that a number of our citizens there have fallen prey to contamination from the mining activities that are taking place there. We will wait for a comprehensive report after investigations are done, and in the process I can only call upon the health authorities to expedite the investigations of the victims, their management and their rehabilitation. As we do this, in the same breath, let us put in measures that will protect the public, both within Chitambo area, Serenge, and beyond, from any public health hazards informed by any industrialization, any manufacturing. There is no development worth its salt if it comes at the expense of the lives of the people of Zambia. That's why it is important that as we plan our development, we pitch public health important as high. Let's place premium on public health and ensure that as we embark on the so much desired developmental activities, we do not do it at the expense of the health of our people.
United National Independence Party UNIP Information and Publicity Secretary Andrew Ziambo has expressed disappointment with the manner in which police handled the protest that was staged by opposition political parties over the Ndola-Lusaka dual carriageway in Lusaka. He says the action went against the people's rights to freedom of expression and assembly, further urging the relevant authorities to look into the matter and have the detained people released. And Mr. Ziambo is concerned that youths have been sidelined in matters of national development.
It's unfortunate. I could hear the minister speak, Honorable Haimbe, telling the youths to be patient and to wait. I think as the youths of Zambia, we've been hearing this for time immemorial. Day in, day out, they always tell us to wait, whilst themselves are eating. It's very disheartening, and I use the term eating not in a demeaning manner, but I hope you know what I'm talking about. The Sujilite situation in Northern Province. People are eating. What's there for the youths? The Kasensele God. People are eating. What's there for the youths? We hope the UPND government should do something about this. Unfortunately, the president is on the Copper Belt addressing our fellow youths there. I hope that he attends to these matters. These Sujilite issues should be benefiting the entire youths in this country. It's also quite disheartening what happened on Friday. Our colleagues from the EFF, the Economic Freedom Fighters of Zambia, and Heritage Party, as well as this other political party belonging to our colleague Chilufya. It's very disheartening to see what happened. The president promised us a free Zambia with proper freedom of speech. And it's quite sad that people are arrested for voicing out their concerns on the Ndola Kichwa Duo carriageway. It's very disheartening. We hope that their answers could be, that these people could be heard, their voices could be heard, and answers could be given. But unfortunately, they got arrested for something that I strongly feel should have just been dialogue. If they didn't have a permit, the police simply needed to tell them to go back home and not just arrest them. They were very peaceful, and what we saw was them being arrested.
Chilanga district youths have pledged to be responsible citizens and contribute meaningfully to national development. Speaking during the Youth Day commemoration in Chilanga, Youth Representative Happy Mutonga notes that young people, being in the majority, will ensure that they denounce the ills of society such as tribalism and other vices that deter both personal and national development. Mr. Mutonga has since reminded the government and the youths to work as partners in making Zambia a better place. The 2023 Youth Day was commemorated under the theme Transforming Minds for Accelerated Youth Development. Meanwhile, guest of honor at the event, Chilanga District Commissioner David Sheleni, said the United Party for National Development UPND administration considers the youths as partners in development. More in this report.
We have also this Friends of Memory Nursing School. Thank you very much. Saving lives also, I can see they are ready to save lives. Thank you.
Sunday, 12 March 2022, youths in Lusaka's Chilanga district joined the rest of the country in commemorating their day with the pledge to be responsible citizens. The men and women in uniform led the march and various youths showcased their talents. The event was peaceful and there was coexistence among political parties. The youths note that Zambia, being a youthful country with close to 70% of its population being young people, there is a need to be innovative, using available resources for the country to develop. Happy Mutonga called on other youths to embrace mindset change and take advantage of the empowerment programs being offered by the government.
Government has and is doing its part, and it remains with us young people to embrace the government's effort in transforming our minds for acceleration of youth development. In order for the youth to contribute positively to the national development, I urge my fellow youths to be the custodian of peace and unity.
And the council chairperson, Champion Mutonga, reminded youths of the empowerment programs being offered by the government under the Constituency Development Fund, CDF.
My dear youth, temptations to get things easily done are always there. However, as you come to learn, success is always as a result of learning, a focused and dedicated approach to doing things, and then going after opportunities that call for the application of your knowledge and experiences. In this vein, I urge you to ensure that you refrain from social vices that could endanger your lives and destroy your future.
Youths are faced with various problems. I challenge the youths to come up with solutions to the many problems that we are facing as a nation in order to accelerate youth development. Surely, as youths, we should not bury ourselves in the sand and complain. My message is that we should stand up and be counted. Let's create opportunities because we have what it takes to change the narrative.
Meanwhile, Chilanga District Commissioner David Sheleni says youths are well placed to take the development of the country to the next level as the government continues to create a favorable environment.
When the president was officiating at the National Youth INDABA last week, he was categorical on the need of the youth to get advantage of the many opportunities that are available for them and get involved in the economic activities in order to develop themselves and in the process develop the country as well. I want therefore to urge our business partners in Chilanga district to come on board so that together we can design programs that can empower our youth in the district to embark on business ventures.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Former Republican President Edgar Lungu says he has not lost the love for Jesus Christ and worshipping despite losing in politics. Speaking when he attended a congregation in Lusaka on the 12th of March 2023 at Mtendere's St. John's United Church of Zambia UCZ, he said he will not apologize for believing in God and will continue respecting God in all works. Meanwhile, Reverend Lordwell Siyame encouraged youths to stand out and make a meaningful contribution to developing the country. More in this report.
Sunday, 12th March 2023, former Republican President Edgar Lungu spent his morning worshipping with congregants at St. John's United Church of Zambia in Lusaka, where he was accompanied by various Patriotic Front officials. And speaking when he was given a platform, the former head of state encouraged citizens to always put their faith and trust in God. He also disclosed that despite losing in politics, he has not lost the urge to worship God.
And I'm not offering any apology to anyone. I'm not offering any apology to anyone when I say that we believe in God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And that's what we do. Each one of us has got his own political affiliation. And I think Bishop Majilanda Bunyosana, but he was talking politics somewhere. So and when I say I lost power, yes, we lost power in PF, but we didn't lose God. We didn't lose the love of Christ. We'll keep coming to churches, we'll keep congregating with our friends, and those of you who feel sick about it, please, I hope you will find care. And I know that you are again doing politics. So, munjeleko sana.
At a side interview with Reverend Lordwell Siyame, after the church service, he encouraged youths to stand out and make a meaningful contribution in developing the country.
Creating awareness that youths, you are counted as well as part and parcel of this community. So the word of encouragement is that it is high time now youths stood out for them to be counted, to make a meaningful contribution to the development of this country, and to make sure that they also contribute to the wellness of all of us. Secondly, maybe it's high time that they started also thinking of taking over the future. And how do you take over? I think they need to be prepared today for them to be future leaders and to be future citizens of this country. So the message really is that they need to stand up there and be counted.
Meanwhile, former ambassador to Ethiopia Emmanuel Mwamba has noted with concern the selective application of the law being administered by the current administration.
24 members of the opposition and civil society, they had obtained a permit. They had given notice to the police as required by the Public Order Act. So their arrest is illegal and they should be released forthwith. The matter they were advocating is a public matter that goes to secure public funds. And we have seen protests even by homosexuals that were allowed. So we wish to appeal to the Inspector General of Police to release these protesters. Their cause is genuine and they had followed the law before they embarked on the protest march.
Sampa Mulenda, reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
There was confusion at the Lusaka showgrounds as United Party for National Development youths who marched in multitudes demanded special recognition and denounced the former ruling party, the Patriotic Front, over past mismanagement of national resources. The youths were in confrontation with police officers who had the duty to maintain peace and order. Meanwhile, Minister of Justice Mulambo Haimbe says that the youth in Zambia represent the largest population. Hence, they have a critical role to play in providing the much-needed labor force for the development of the country. More in the following report.
There was commotion at the Lusaka showgrounds as youths from the United Party for National Development stormed the youth commemoration event as they wanted to sit at the VIP lounge with the minister, but instead had confrontations with the police. Some chanted slogans of disconnect against previous government, the Patriotic Front, and various stakeholders have expressed disappointment in the commotion caused by some UPND youths.
Unfortunately, some incidences took place, of course, here that I strongly feel shouldn't have been done by our colleagues from the UPND. I expected a better organization from them. That disruption was just uncalled for, and we hope that they will do better next time.
The annual celebration of Youth Day aims to bring attention to youth issues and recognize the contributions young people make in various areas such as education, employment, and social justice. 12th March 2023, during the commemoration of Youth Day, Minister of Justice Mulambo Haimbe said youths in the country play a critical role in providing the much-needed labor force for the development of the country. Mr. Haimbe says that government is committed to spur youth development through continued provisions of the youth empowerment funds.
A country with empowered youth has the potential to bring a revolution for the betterment of the future of the nation. With that said, the new government is committed to implementing youth development through continued provision of youth empowerment funds, free education, increased bursary education, and student loans, providing skills training, among many other initiatives that the government is looking out for to spur youth development opportunities in the country.
Also speaking at the event, Chaplain Captain Peggy Kopakopa of Zambia Army underscored that mindset transformation among young people is vital for development.
Youth development can only sustain, attain, and accelerate through mental transformation. Thus, the importance of mental transformation can never be overemphasized. The scripture reading that was read was the instruction that Apostle Paul gave young Timothy to say, despite being a youth, and encourage you that the only way that you can be a good youth is if you give yourself to mental transformation.
Beatrice Chabaya, Camnet News, Lusaka.
While others were celebrating Youth Day at the Lusaka showgrounds, some youths from various districts of Zambia who traveled for the Youth INDABA, which was held in Lusaka, are stranded at the government complex and various lodges. Those who spoke to Camnet News say they expected to travel back on the 11th of March, but have encountered logistical challenges. Meanwhile, some youths who managed to get transport refunds have complained of massive underpayments, thus regretting attending the INDABA. They say efforts to get help from the Ministry of Youth and Sports have proved futile as responsible officials are not responding to their cause.
In polite ways, the day was good, but they have drays us. We've been drained. We wanted to go home yesterday, but they're just keeping us like Monga Tribe Vochit. Then, for the day, being as a youth day today, the day is good. We are really celebrated. We are still celebrating. We enjoyed the meal and whatever, but they have dragged us to give us, to refund us the transport to go to our various.
You're watching Camnet Television's main news. We'll take our first break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
In our quest to serve nations and develop Africa, Savannah is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savannah Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savannah Farms.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Government says the increased participation of youths in artisanal and small-scale mining in Mumbwa is set to contribute towards the restoration of the town's economic growth and development. The government further says this will in turn lead to an improved livelihood for youths and women. Central Province Minister Credo Nanjua says his administration, working in collaboration with the Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development, has worked on a master plan aimed at assisting youths to engage in formal and legal mining activities. Speaking when he graced this year's 2023 Youth Day celebration in Mumbwa, Mr. Nanjua, who is also Mumbwa Central MP, says this will enable the artisanal and small-scale miners to access affordable capital as well as to partner with potential foreign investors through joint ventures.
The administration, in cooperation with the Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development, have commenced sensitizing people how to participate in mining and formalizing the mining licenses. I'm grateful that the provincial administration team was in Mumbwa and had this program of sensitization. You may wish to know that the formalization will assist artisanal and small-scale miners to access affordable capital and also to partner with potential foreign investors through joint ventures. I wish to encourage all youths involved in mining to formalize their operations, as this is the only way to ensure that you receive the fair share from our mineral wealth. We have
to extend our gratitude on the new John government for supporting young people in the foreign areas. For declaration of free education from grade 1 to grade 12, which will accord young people to attend the education with less difficulties. For the massive employment of 30,000 and 11,000 healthy personnel, on which 75% of those employed are youths.
Some youths in Lusaka have urged young people to desist from indulging in illicit activities as they celebrate their day. Speaking in an interview with Camnet TV News, the United Party for National Development UPND Publicity Secretary for Katete District Jeffrey Soko says youths are leaders of today, hence the need to get involved in productive activities. And some pupils from Kabulonga Secondary School also shared their views.
This Youth Day for 2023, it's the most amazing youth day of my lifetime. More especially being a farmer. I'm a soybeans farmer, and the message that I have for my fellow youths out there is that you know, we need to do the things that we want, the things that our hearts desire when we are still young. Because 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we will look back and we'll say, wow, I'm glad I did it 5 years ago. I'm glad I did it 10 years ago. I know that not every one of us can be a farmer, a teacher, a lawyer, an accountant, a police officer, but the focal point is that let us do the things that we desire.
This is how I'm celebrating my Wasis Youth Day at the Showgrounds. I'm from the Kabulonga School Choir, and how I can encourage other youths to celebrate the Youth Day is by having fun with everyone and don't involve yourself in drinking, drug abuse and other things.
New Foundation for the Blind in Zambia Executive Director Peter Wale has urged the United Party for National Development Administration to adopt the mixed member proportion electoral system in order to stir inclusion. Speaking with Camnet News, Mr. Wale is happy that the recommendations to the Zambian government during the pre-democracy summit that was recently held in Lusaka took into account the interests of persons with disabilities. He is confident that Zambia will demonstrate magnanimity to implement the recommendations of stakeholders. On the 29th and 30th of March, the Zambian government will co-host the second summit for democracy with the government of Costa Rica, the Netherlands, the Republic of Korea, and the United States of America.
It's the time that we feel to be part and parcel of the country, Zambia. These are moments that make us feel like that, because in some instances we are left behind. I've mentioned several times that we are the first to be forgotten and the last to be remembered. But in this particular meeting, we've been part and parcel of the planning and everything. And today we are just winding up the same particular meeting, which is a run-up to the summit on democracy, which the government of the Republic of Zambia in 2021 did commit. But now on the 29th and 30th, we are having now the summit itself now to look at the commitments and make other commitments. And as persons with disabilities or disability organizations, we have made our submissions, and our main hope at the moment is to see to it that our commitments are taken into consideration to make our lives better, like mixed member electoral system where persons with disabilities will be able to participate in the political space, because For your information, Zambia is a state party to the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, of which we also went further to enact the law, which is the Disabilities Act number 6 of 2012, which allows that a person with a disability has got the right to vote and to be voted for. So issues to do with political participation are part of it.
And now, Deputy Police Spokesperson Danny Mwale has disclosed that the police conducted an operation at Lusaka's intercity bus terminus and surrounding areas where 193 people suspected to be junkies were arrested. He says that the operation was conducted between March 11, 2023 at 20 hours and March 12, 2023 at 04 hours, and among the suspects were 4 females. The suspects, who are aged between 17 and 35, are all detained in police custody, awaiting to be formally charged with various offences.
Police conducted an operation at Lusaka Intercity Bus Terminus and surrounding areas where 193 people suspected to be junkies were arrested. The operation was conducted between March 11, 2023 at 20 hours and March 12, 2023 at 04 hours. The suspects, who include 4 females, are aged between 17 and 35. They are all detained in police custody, awaiting to be formally charged with various offences. Management at Lusaka Intercity Bus Terminus have been complaining to police about the attacks and harassment to the travelling public by the junkies.
The Youth Movement for Positive Change Zambia has urged youths across the country to take advantage of the financial opportunities that the government has availed in order to foster economic development. In an interview, YMPCZ National Chairman Felix Piri says youths must take advantage and utilize various empowerment opportunities and form cooperatives in groups in order to actualize their economic growth. Meanwhile, Mr. Piri is pleased that the government is committed to empowering youths by supporting youth empowerment initiatives. He has since called on youths to work extra hard to create opportunities and employment for fellow youths.
We call upon all the provincial coordinators to mobilize themselves and also mobilize the district coordinators to ensure that all the youths rises to the cause, so that the opportunities that the government has unveiled, and that they should participate, just to make sure that they become part and parcel of the governance issues, and also take interest in whatever is happening in the various provinces to ensure that there is a lot to be done. Okay, there's a lot to be done to take advantage of CDF acquisition, taking advantage of other financial opportunities that the government has availed. So as an organization, we're calling upon all the youths, as this is our day of recognition. The nation has recognized us. The recognition it goes beyond our efforts. It also a recognition that goes just to recognize our importance to the society. So we want to encourage each and every youth across the country to come on board and participate.
We'll take our second and final break. Join us for international sports news after the break.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
We continue with the news, and in international news, every year the cost of studying at a South African university is becoming unbearable for students. According to data from financial service group Old Mutual, University students in South Africa will fork out an average of $3,000 in 2023. In the past week, students from the University of Witwatersrand shut down the campus in protest over the exclusion of students who cannot afford to register for the new academic year and pay off debt. One of the student leaders says they are demanding that the university does not leave academically deserving students stranded. Here's more in international news.
Every year, the cost of studying at a South African university is becoming unbearable for students. According to data from financial services group Old Mutual, university students in South Africa will fork out an average of $3,000 in 2023. In the past week, students from the University of Witwatersrand shut down the campus in protest over the exclusion of students who cannot afford to register for the new academic year and pay off debt. One of the student leaders says they're demanding that the university does not leave academically deserving students stranded.
The core problem here is that students are unable to register due to financial reasons. Most students who are unable to register are academically deserving to register and enter into the university, but they are unable to because of financial reasons, and that is one of our major demands.
This week, students at Wits University were seen sleeping in public places due to a lack of accommodation. This final year law student says securing financial aid for accommodation continues to be a struggle every year.
At the current moment, I don't have funding. I am appealing financial aid. What's this? For the past years, it was okay. Then this year, it became a struggle because I didn't have funding at all. So, like, I had struggles of getting accommodation, registering, stuff like that.
Another student says they've tried applying for bursaries, but with no luck.
I studied a BA law and I'm doing the 2-year postgraduate LLB, and because financial aid has defunded the 2-year and 3-year stream of LLB, I'm now stuck without funding. I was fortunately able to register, however I don't know how I'm going to cover my fees, and I wasn't able to get into accommodation because you know, I don't have financial aid.
At this point, students and the university management are still locked up in negotiations, and on the ground here, students are hoping that in those heated discussions, a mutual solution will come sooner than later.
Alaso Aidan Mohammed and her family recently arrived at the Dadaab refugee camp. She left her village in Lower Juba in Somalia when her 4 grandchildren died because she had no food to give them. There's a drought in the Horn of Africa. 6 rainy seasons have failed.
In the last drought in 2011, we were surviving on goat skin and wild fruits. In this drought, we can't even get that. Our options are limited. This drought is more severe.
More than 100,000 Somalis have crossed into Kenya since last year, and they keep coming. Aid workers say they're struggling to give them their basic needs. This is the longest dry spell in 4 decades.
Even life-saving is a challenge for us right now. Yes, we are providing food, WFP providing food, and we are providing water and sanitation. And that is as far as it goes, and medical. They have access to medical structures. But because of the lack of funding or insufficient funding, even those structures, new structures cannot be put in place. So they are overcrowding the existing structures.
Ismail Ali Mohammed is pitching a tent on the edge of the camp. He has to scrounge to have a roof over his children's heads.
People have been dying. The journey from Somalia was desperate. There was nothing to eat, no water to drink. I know people who died on the way.
Such shelters are scattered across the area that hosts more than 300,000 refugees, majority of whom have fled from conflict and drought. Most of the people who are coming to this area on the outskirts of Dadaab camps are not registered as refugees yet, so they are struggling to survive. They have very little water and food. The refugees get cereals, cooking oil, and some cash every month, but the new arrivals have to wait a little longer to access the services. There's also a vetting process to ensure those who are coming in are not a security threat. Those like Ismail Mohammed, who are making the journey to these camps, say they just want to stay alive.
It's sports news time now. In our sports news, Arsenal restored their 5-point advantage at the top of the Premier League in outstanding fashion with a ruthless victory at Fulham. Mikel Arteta's side responded to Manchester City's narrow victory at Crystal Palace on Saturday night by wrapping up this win by half-time as they opened up a 3-0 lead with a devastating attacking display. Gabriel Martinelli had already had a goal narrowly ruled out for offside by the official video assistant referee VAR before defender Gabriel headed in Leandro Trossard's corner after 21 minutes, the first of a trio of assists for the Belgian. Trossard then crossed for Martinelli to beat the static Anthony Robinson to head home at the far post 5 minutes later before providing the delivery for captain Martin Odegaard's cool finish in first half stoppage time. Fulham mounted a belated threat after the break as visiting keeper Aaron Ramsdale denied Bobby de Cordova-Reid while Tosin Aderabioyo headed against the woodwork. Arsenal, however, were always in control, and Arteta was able to reintroduce the influential striker Gabriel Jesus for the first time since he required knee surgery after being injured playing for Brazil against Cameroon at the World Cup for a 13-minute cameo. To end Camnet Television News, top stories once again. UPND youths cause commotion at LUSAKA Youth Day event while youths INDABA delegates remain stranded. Authorities urged to pay attention to victims of manganese poisoning. AVAP calls for the autonomy of the Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ. In international news, South Africa's university students denounce increasing cost of education. And in sports news, Arsenal beat Fulham to restore 5-point lead. Our comment verse of the day is coming from Proverbs 12, verse 1. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid. Thank you once again for watching Camnet News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.